Every transition has a destination, but most businesses start moving before they actually know where they're going. And today, I'd like to introduce a tool that just changes that, the transition compass. It doesn't actually tell you where to go, but it helps you discover and figure out, sometimes together if you're bringing your successor or maybe other transitioners into the mix. It also helps you stay oriented as you get there. So this compass, once you walk through it, it acts kind of like your North Star. And you can shift your North Star anytime you want to, but it's nice to have one and know that you're on the right course. So what is the transition compass? The compass evolves what I would call directional tool for business transition planning. And it is built around the big six, the 6 questions: the why, the what, the who, the when, the how, and the how much. These aren't administrative kind of questions that you easily answer. They're questions that actually, when you go through the tools for each one of those questions inside of your transition compass, those questions reveal whether everyone involved is actually aligned. And it also brings forward conversations that actually are pretty easy to have in the right context, but they're questions that normally don't get discussed or answered when you aren't focused on where you're headed and in your transition. So most transitions, what I've found, they skip straight to the execution. They go to, dates, how the transaction's going to happen, what the price is going to be, what the financial structure is. And it's all crunched into a short period of time. And for me, that's, like a year. Hey, I'm going to sell my business this year. I'm going to get it ready and put it on the market. That's all going to happen right away. And it's pretty ready. I'm going to talk to people and ask them if they want to buy it, but I really don't know what the value is. So we're going to get that done too. And then we're going to put together legal documents, and everybody has to figure out financing or, all of these different things, if you're going out to private equity or not. And then most of the time, the owners aren't even ready to talk to a private equity company. Why? Because they haven't done a lot of work on how they want to live their lives. What's important to them? What's important to them about the business? What do they want to preserve? How do they want to treat people inside? Those are all questions that take some time. And typically what happens is there's a lot of excitement and momentum and things happening. And then it all falls apart. It all stops. Most of the time because they run into something that just doesn't fit. And they decide, it isn't really for them. Wouldn't it be nice if they could know ahead of time, those transitioners, what they wanted, how they were going to get there, so the execution was smooth and there wasn't a waste of time, energy, and money. So the compass, it slows down that process in the best possible way. Then it helps you and your team around you make sure that you know what direction you're heading as you start moving. And it gives you a lot of confidence to do it that way. So, are you on the right path? Or are you just moving? There's a huge difference between just movement and direction. Of course, you need movement, but hopefully you've got great direction. And guess what? Guess who picks the direction? You do. You get to pick the direction because there's so many different directions you can go. The compass gives you a way to check, not just are we making progress, but are we headed the right way? So think about what a real compass actually does. It doesn't require you to know your exact destination, but it gives you orientation. It gives you confidence. It gives you a sense that you're not just wandering around in a forest, not knowing which direction you're going, hoping that someday you're going to get out of the forest and it's going to be great and you're going to be exactly where you want to be. So the compass actually gives you confidence. We are going the right direction. This is where we want to go. And that's what those 6 questions do. They orient you so that every decision you make along the way is pointing in that direction, saving money, effort, energy, time, and a lot of emotion. Everything is more clear. So why do multiple generations need a shared compass? This is where I think most transitions break down. And it's almost never about bad intentions. It's never about that, usually. It's usually about misalignment, that one person has a destination in mind, another person has a different one in mind. And, they may not be that far off, but if they're a little bit off, if one is going, I like to use roadmaps, if one is going to Calgary, which is a city in Canada, and the other one is going to Canmore, which is only about an hour and a half away from Calgary, it's a smaller town and it's up in the mountains. They're not that far apart, but two totally different environments, two totally different places, two totally different lifestyles. Having even a small difference in the destination in mind can cause misalignment. And nobody in that scenario has ever put them in the same room potentially to compare and have the conversations to say, where are we headed? Another thing that can happen that breaks down some transitions, and it can be even worse, is that one person selects the destination and then tells everybody else to figure out how to get there. This is where we're going. I really want to go here, and I don't care what you think. This is where we're going. It's best for everyone. Figure it out. Or one person selects it and also dictates the route. This is where we're going. This is how we're getting there. Let's go. That is something that happens when you're a business owner building and growing a company because you're that CEO and that owner. When you get to transitioning, you really are handing over the reins and hoping and praying that somebody will take it over for you and somebody will love it and care for it as much as you have in the past. So both of those are risky, but not because people don't care. It's because they were never navigating together in the first place. So whether it's two owners or a founding generation and a next generation coming together, or an owner bringing in outside leadership, really everybody who has a stake in this transition and who likely will become an owner in the future needs to be holding the same compass. It's so important. And when that happens, something amazing shifts. There's comfort because you're not alone in doing this as a transitioner, or you're not alone in trying to do it as a successor. There's confidence because you have a shared tool, a shared language, a shared process. And there's trust because people can see that the direction wasn't just handed down. It was actually built together. Last, there's flexibility because you know what? Life happens. Transitions rarely go exactly as planned, especially if it's over many years, which is a great way to do it. So when you're navigating together and you have a compass and you've got a roadmap, you can adjust without losing each other because of misalignment. You'll be aligned along the way. You'll be able to understand that you get off path, and you'll be able to have a conversation to either get on the path again, shift your path, or decide this just isn't for you, which happens. So the transition compass doesn't promise a perfect destination, but what it does promise is that you'll know what direction you're headed. You'll be oriented when things shift, and you won't arrive somewhere only to find out that the people you brought with you wanted to go someplace else entirely. That is really discouraging when that happens. So that's what it means to plan a transition, not just to move, but to move together with clarity, with confidence, and with a compass in hand. I'd like to invite you to take a look at our Evolve program. It is phenomenal for families and for owners and successors who want to create a transition that works for the people, as well as integrating tax, estate, the business. We help owners create what is a win-win-win kind of a solution a win for you as a transitioner, a win for you as a successor, and also a win for the business and the community that surrounds it.